Good afternoon and welcome to Clarity TV. I'm Barbara Gray and this is Paul Church.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And today is an exciting afternoon because we're launching something very new and very useful.
And very unique to us here at Clarity.
And very unique us to here at Clarity and Pergamano.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to take it easy, travel gently this afternoon. It's been quite hectic here.
It has, yeah, a little bit.
And Paul's arm has seized up, which is this your right arm. He's struggling with his right arm, so we decided to just take it easy, and just show you what we've got on offer today.
Yep. Got some friends in the room already. Gracie will be there if you've got any questions. So.
Yeah, Grace in New York. She will be there to answer any questions, and she'll be feeding the questions through to us.
She will indeed.
And the whole thing really started. Shout out to my Dave on this.
Everyone needs a Dave. They really do.
And the whole thing really started back in January because a lot of us had come out of Christmas and sort of lost our mojo. I'd certainly lost my way a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a general malaise, isn't it?
I think so. It's all the hype, isn't it, for Christmas and everything else and everything that's going on around the world.
Nothing's improved really either, And so we came out of Christmas into the new year. I said, oh, new year, new idea. How about we go small? Because I felt personally that when I reduced the size of the artwork or the art project I was working on, it seemed to be easier to handle.
It takes away the pressure, doesn't it? If you start with a 7x7 piece of card and you think, oh, where do I start?
Yeah, it's a lot of white card, isn't it? And I do tend to start with a white piece of card. And so we decided to shrink the artwork, and we even started a group on Facebook called Clarity Crafts Mini Makes and ATCs. ATCs, for the uninitiated among you, ATC stands for Artist Trading Cards. Been around for a long time.
Which again is small pieces of art, isn't it?
2.5 by 3.5 inches.
Yeah.
And we had also modified that a long time ago with Josie into PTCs.
Yes.
Parchment trading cards. And so that had always been running along in the background anyway.
But it was in two separate places, wasn't it? Because we had Groovy Worldwide and we had Clarity Worldwide.
And so we pulled them together. We put them together. And the thing about the PTCs and the ATCs is it's not mandatory. You don't have to join in.
No.
I join in, you join in. It's really nice, actually. I enjoy it.
I think sometimes, as you say, the reason also was it to give a purpose for doing something, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of us. I think that was a lot of the problem in January was people were saying, well, what's the point? What's the point to keep making cards? Who am I making them for?
Yeah.
And so the ATCs and the PTCs, they kind of give you a reason to make a beautiful card and make an ATC. And then, so if you're not in that group, I'm sure Jane Telford will be in the room with us here.
I'm sure Jane will be in the room. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Gracie's popped the link up to the Facebook group.
Well done, Grace.
There we
go. It might be well worth joining in there. And I would also suggest while you're here that you maybe, if you're on Facebook, that you follow or you subscribe.
Yeah.
And the same on YouTube, because that way you'll always get notification if anything new is coming up. If you follow or subscribe this channel.
Yeah, and share the love, definitely. It's all about sharing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sharing is caring.
Tell your friends. So we'd started on this mini makes trip, and then my Dave, he came up with this great idea for stamp pens.
Yes.
Because he could see that I was struggling a little bit, with the handles, even the smallest handles, it's quite hard to get a good...
Without the wobble.
So we were always using anti-wobble devices. You've heard me say all this before. And so, and if you're using a platform on a tiny little stamp, the chances are that you'll press too hard, too much pressure, not enough pressure, squish it, et cetera, et cetera. And then Dave came up with these brilliant stamp pens, which are really, really clever because they're pens.
Yeah.
And so all of us, they work for left-handers and they work for right-handers, except when Paul. But the thing is, they work beautifully, and because they're actually pens, we automatically know how to hold them.
It's comfortable, isn't it?
It's
when
very
you're working.
ergonomic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's using the Pergamano tools, you've got that comfort grip to them.
You do.
Yeah.
And you know automatically that you know how much pressure to apply, and you just well, I've always said, if you apply pressure to the center of the stamp, the outside, you don't have to, you know,
you don't want to see that.
No, quite the opposite. And so Dave came up with these stamp pens, and they come in 4 different shapes, don't they?
Should we have a look at a full screen shot of that? Yeah,
good idea.
There we go. So we'll bring those details. Now this is a larger selection here. So there's 4 different shapes, as Barb said. You've got a square, a rectangle, an oval, and a circle. And they all have their own purposes. So this collection is where you would get 3 of those complete sets, and you have a £10 saving. And this fits perfectly with what we're launching today in relation to the quantity, doesn't it?
Exactly. So actually, while we're on that screen, before you go away, how about doing a little bit of housekeeping and showing our friends what all that code down the side means?
Okay, so if you're looking to place an order, there's 2 different ways of doing so. Across the bottom, you've got our website, which is claritycrafts.com. There's also our telephone number, which is operational Monday to Friday from 8 until 4:30, just in case you're watching on catch up. And that telephone number is 01732 868 215. Now there's a 5-digit code in the top left-hand corner, 31750. So that's the code for this particular product. You then have your product description, and then underneath you've got the various pricing. So this has an RRP of £71.88. It has a £10 saving, bringing the price down to £61.88.
And that's for 12 pens?
For 12 of those pens, yes.
So what happens if I don't want 12?
So if you don't want 12, then I can offer, let me have a look, I can offer you a set of 4 pens.
You can get 4 pens?
4 pens.
One of each of the shapes?
Indeed. They are also available individually as well. So if you wanted just to get 4 squares, you can buy those individually.
Oh, okay.
And if you go to the claritycrafts.com website, there's a lovely button that says Clarity TV, just like the one behind. And if you click on there, everything that we're bringing to you during the course of this hour is listed in the various configurations and also individually as well.
Excellent. So thus endeth the story of the stamp pens.
Yes.
But not quite, because then what happened, people like Sarah Brennan, they started collecting stamp pens and saying, these are the best things since sliced bread. And then we started making little stamps that fit the stamp pens and so on. And we launched them with the wreaths. The Build a Wreath collection, which is gorgeous.
It is.
And I'm going on telly with them on Hobbymaker on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's a really great starting place, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And so then I was listening to people, what are we going to do? How do you store them? Blah, blah, blah. And I knew it too, because they stand up, that's fine, right? But when you've got a stamp on them, then you automatically, you lie them down like this, right? So then you're forever doing this to see what stamps you've got on, what you've mounted them on, right?
Exactly.
So Dave, brilliant Dave, he said, I've had an idea, because he's been at home because of his knee surgery. Yeah. And he's been at home, and he said, how about we make a stamp pen holder? So not a full-blown caddy like we had, before, which was a real mission.
It was.
It was a manufacturing mission. So he said, no, let's keep it simple, and we'll just make a proper, beautiful holder for 12 pens at a time, right? And voila. And so if you can see this, if I go to that count, there we go. So you can see there, absolutely fantastic. It doesn't come loaded.
That's the joy of crafting. I said this the other day on TV. The joy of crafting is collecting to fill your storage.
That's true. And here we've got this caddy which takes 12 pens.
Yes.
And you'll see it's created out of top quality 4mm cast acrylic. So it's really good quality.
Nice and robust.
Same
isn't
as
it?
the groovy plate quality.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice. And that means that it also etches really nicely. So at one end, for example, you can see here, it says claritycrafts.com, which is really lovely.
So perfect for your stamp pens.
And then, of course, because they're the same pens, they work absolutely brilliantly for your Pergamano tools. So if we were come to me, if you have got your Pergamano tools,
Yeah.
right, then you can literally just pop them straight in here, and they just sit perfectly, the same as, because they're the same pens.
Yeah.
So I've got Pergamano tools, I've got blending pens.
Yeah.
They work. Mapping pens.
Mapping pen, they'd be great for that. Your shader tools.
Multi-needle tools.
Yeah.
Shader tools. So the hockey stick.
So you can have one
beautifully
for your embossing tools, one for your sort of basic needle tools,
there
and
we
one
are.
for your multi-needle tools.
So it works really, it's just multifunctional.
And I think they're nice because they're quite compact in size.
Yeah.
So if you've got a shallow desk, you could have them running in a complete
Not bad
row,
at all.
couldn't
Look,
you?
see, so they're quite thin.
Yeah.
In that they're a couple of inches across, maybe 2.5 inches across,
Yeah.
and they just sit flat on the table. So, they work really, really nicely. And one of the things that I've kind of worked out very quickly as soon as I started using it, and I alluded to this in the shack this morning, was that it's really excellent for composition, for building a project.
Right.
So
yes.
I didn't want one that's full.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. You know, that looks. But when I'm doing a project, let me show you. So I noticed immediately. Can I give you that?
You can,
Paul?
indeed.
As soon as I started putting a project together, what was really great, I said, I need a blank one, because if I can show you from above, you can see here all the stamps that I'm going to use are all loaded on the project. So they're like a kind of they're like a planner.
Yes.
Because otherwise what happens is they're all on, you start building a wreath and you need half a dozen or 8 or 10 flowers and bits and pieces.
And then you keep putting them back.
You keep putting them back, they lose their tack, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Or they're lying on the deck and then you keep looking, is that the one, is that the one? Whereas
and
when they're
takes
sitting,
up a lot of space as well.
Yeah,
then,
it does,
it?
and they roll around. But now I'm looking and I'm going, yeah, I can see exactly which ones I'm using, okay, which is ideal. And then when I'm finished with my project,
you can put them away.
Another better idea before I put them away is a hop, skip and a jump. So say, for example, let me show you, let's say I'm doing that wreath there.
Yes.
So then before I put them away, I've decided which colours I'm using.
Yeah.
I write the colours down on here. So I lift it up, I stamp it, I write it, I store it. Lift it up, stamp it, write it, store it. Lift it up. Perfect. So that way I'm decanting my project.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping an index. And this is invaluable.
And you can keep that in the storage box.
So I'll pop that in there in my really nice little storage box, which I know that the storage boxes that we give with the
it comes as a complete
set,
collection, yeah.
Yeah, they're already indexed. Mine wasn't indexed.
No, you had the prototype, yeah.
But that's really useful.
I think so, because it is. Because
it's almost like what I'm saying is you want an empty one.
Yeah.
You might want one for your pens. I'm not trying to get you. Well, yes, I am. But for me personally, it was really useful to have an empty one. And what I was doing was I was taking all the full ones, right?
Yeah.
So just saying.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, saying many of our friends took advantage when we first launched the pens of the set of 3.
Yeah.
Many bought more than sort of a couple of sets of those. So to have them already empty, and then, as you say, to have this one as your project one is perfect.
It really works very effectively, because you do your layout and you work out your wreath. You decide which flowers and which colours, and then you've got all your stamps ready to go, and then you can start building, and then it just becomes a joy to do.
And also, because of the number of stamps that are in the various collections in those 4 different sets of wreaths, what you're doing is you're minimising. So you're not thinking, oh, do I use this one?
Yeah. So that's one of the things. If we pan out a little bit,
Yeah.
let's go to this camera here, and you can see here, for example, I just laid them out, the 4 sets, and you can see how many. You've got about 35 on each of these.
Yes, there was, yeah.
Right, so there's loads of flowers and loads of bits. And so what you can see, this is another useful thing to do. The ones that I used, obviously the index is there, but they're blank.
Yeah.
So when I'm building my reference with the colours, you know, like I said before,
that you put in the little box.
So that I put in here. So when I'm building that and I'm relocating my flowers, like this tiny little flower up there, it is minuscule.
Rinky
right?
dink.
Well, it's there. So I'll stamp that on there so I know what colour it is that I used if I want a reference, and then I'll replace it back on its home sheet.
Yes.
And then I've got my blank stamp pen ready to go again. You know, I mean, this is just for stampers. That it's a game changer when we start looking at the Pergamano tools.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, as a parcher, you've got embossing tools, you've got multi-needle tools.
Yeah.
So did it just get warm in here again?
It did again.
It's
it's
really weird.
Shall I pop round the back and open the window?
No, I'll do it. You stay there.
So yeah, so with the Pergamano tools, we worked out there was 45 currently Pergamano tools. So that would mean 4 of these particular tool caddies. But maybe you just want to start off and get one maybe for the multi-needle tools. But for me, I'd have one for my embossing tools, one for my essentials that I go to every day, like the 1 needles, the 2 needles, etc. And then have your multi-needle tools. Maybe you tie it in with the Linda's handbooks.
Yes.
So you could have one that would work with those.
You just load the project.
Yeah.
That's, for me, it's a project loader. So you've got what you need rather than having to flick through your huge bag.
Yeah.
Right. You've got exactly what you need in front of you, and you haven't got to keep looking.
No.
You know. And it's not rolling around on the counter.
Absolutely, and that's funny. Barb was taking some pack shots this morning of the product display, and it rolled away. And she went, "What did you move it for?" I said, "I didn't move it. It rolled."
It rolled.
And she put it back, and it rolled. So that's why you needed the stand.
So while we're on the subject, should we have a look at these wreaths because they are the art.
They are.
So
indeed.
we've done the caddy.
Yeah.
Right. We've established the number for the caddy and the price.
I'll bring that back up there just as a quick recap. 31797, 14.99 plus your club discount. So if you're a Diamond Club member, that brings it down to £12.74p.
Did we say there was double points?
There's double points also on the tool caddy as well. Yes. Yeah.
That's what we agreed, wasn't it?
We did indeed.
So double points until midnight Thursday.
Midnight Thursday.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
So all of you that have already bought them, woohoo!
Yes. I will be adding those points to your account over the coming days. Then if you wanted to stock up on your pens, we have this collection of 12, 31750. It's £10 saving, bringing it down to £61.88. And if you're a Diamond Club member, that's £52.60. Then we have the stamp collection, Kiss by Clarity, Build a Wreath A6 stamp collection, with 4 of the pens to get you started, and it comes with that free storage box.
Right, so just hold your horses there,
okay.
And let's just go to my box. Can I?
Of course you can.
Can I go in here?
I'm going to take that off and we'll go. There we go.
So if we just look at my box, I've got my little stash of, this gets filled up in a minute. This will get filled up. But I just wanted to show you as well, in case you weren't aware, we've got autumn. Jazz designed these. We've got spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Each of them have got like 35 stamps.
Yeah.
Tiny stamps. So if we go to the summer one, let's just take a closer look here. And what you'll see is, if I just move, let's just take them out of the way and let's just use the summer one for now. So you can see how many stamps we've got here. But what I want to show is that I also did an instruction leaflet on the inside that tells you how to build a wreath. So it's a project inside.
Yeah.
So it's really useful. And it's obviously it's the same in each one, except the wreath changes.
With the different stamps.
With the different stamps. But they're very, very interchangeable. What I tend to like the autumnal ones, you got some beautiful little leaves on that one, all right? Or the Christmas ones. You've got these are there they are. They're the autumnal ones. Got fantastic leaves and sprigs on this one.
Nice.
So I tend to go with the leaves and sprigs from the autumn one. Then you've got a little robin. I think there's a robin. Yeah, there are 2 little robins in the Christmas one. There are loads and loads.
It's amazing when you start looking into them, what is actually in there, isn't there?
So you can imagine if you've got 35, so you've got 140 images there.
Wow.
140. So to have a little rack like this where you can isolate the 12 that you might use, you know, or I actually had a bit of an overflow. I needed 2, just saying. But it really does help, and it helps relocating as well.
It does indeed.
So these are beautiful stamps, really, really useful if you like little mini makes. I'm going to do a couple of tricks for you.
And we got 2 brand new sets of stamps as well that we're launching today.
We added another pair, didn't we?
Yes.
These are cool. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the birds.
Okay.
Right, leave the best till last.
Okay.
Okay. So the birds. So I said to Jazz, what I really, really want, is loads of little tiny birds. So we've got swifts, we got blue tits or garden.
Yeah, garden birds.
We got robins, we got hummingbirds.
I love the hummingbirds.
Magpies. You can see they're just parrots, a jay, eagles.
Nice.
I've been doing birds all weekend. I've got the thing about birds.
I know you've been making those lovely little owls.
I have. And the little raccoon birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is for the open days.
It is.
I'm preparing. So the whole idea is I've got to make a load of owls tonight because you, my friends at home that are coming to the open days, I've got to make about 20 little beautiful wrens and
but they want
swallows.
owls.
And they go, I like the owls. I like the owls. I only made 1 owl. So it's like, okay, pressure's on.
Can I have an elephant?
No, you can't. Elephant. So I'll try, Paul.
Okay.
But and so now I'm in owl mode because on the weekend, I'm going to be having, weather permitting, I'm going to do some raccoon firing.
Oh, nice.
So that means I've got to get the owls bisque fired beforehand. Yeah. So that's my job tonight, is make a few owls. Anyway, back to this.
Back to our birds.
We do like some birds, and these are obviously they are made to fit the stamp pens.
They are indeed. So these are called our stamp pen birds, A6 stamp
So
set.
you can see they sit on the stamp pens, whether they're round or, it doesn't matter. Somebody asked, why are they different shapes? You'll find there are certain designs that just work better on a certain shape. It's just the way it is. So an oval one, for example, if the bird is longer than rounder, like that, where the wingspan's out there, then you'll see that the oval one fits better. So yeah, we got 4 different shapes. There's a rectangle in there somewhere as well. I've used them all.
You've used them all.
But that little set of birds, which is really excellent,
it's lovely,
is 12143.
Yeah.
It's just a lovely
$10.99 plus your club discounts.
There you go. And then la pièce de résistance.
Yes.
Now, these are called stamp pen sentiments. This is a little bit of a teamwork makes the dream work between Jazz and myself. So we got these tiny little stamps. If you look at the size of my fingernail, you'll realize. So again, I'm going to go back in here and you can see how small they sit, right? And then, right, the crafter in me came out and I said, well, hang on a minute, Jazz. What about if we made a frame, check it out, that we could then, so these are stamps.
Yeah.
So that you could frame your...
Oh, frame the little sentiments.
Sentiments as well. So now we've got 4 little frames. Use them or don't use them. It's up to you.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, well, hang on a minute. If you've got the stamp message and you've got the little frame, then you must have the masks as well.
Of course, yes.
So in the set, at the back, we also have the masks.
Nice.
And as if that weren't clever enough, what we've done is, and I'll show you how they work. Lisa said, do you want them split up? I said, yes, please. So we're learning, we're evolving. So what you've got now is you've got the outie and the innie.
Oh, perfect.
So you got
So you
so you don't have to chop
feel-
them up.
Nice.
So I'll show you how they work later. Yeah. I tell you what you do need when you're doing this is a pair of tweezers. You know when your tweezers stop working to pluck your eyebrows, like these ones are rubbish now, right? They work really excellent for this kind of thing. There you go. So because everything's tiny, it all requires a little bit of a delicate touch. There you go. Yeah.
That's
these
really
are
good.
useless, but they're brilliant for this.
So the item number for this, the Stamp Pen Sentiments A6 Stamper Mask Set, is 12142, £11.74, plus your club discount as well.
So when you look at the words, you've got Happy Birthday, Merry Christmas, Thinking of You, Happy Anniversary. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 4, 6, 24 sentiments. Big day joy, wow, from me to you, just for you, dream big, good luck, sending home. You got it all going on. You got Christmas, tiny. And the reason that I really thought that these would be the perfect kind of complement to the builder wreath sets.
Yeah.
You know, and for all our little mini makes.
Perfect for that. Even little ATCs and stuff like that, just a little sentiment in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they work really nicely with the stamp pens. So it all ties back. We circle back to the stamp pens. And the reason they work so beautifully, tiny words are very difficult to use because they squelch, you know, as a stamper, which brings me nicely on to the online workshop.
Yes.
So I'm doing an online workshop, which I was talking about on Friday. I launched
it on Friday.
Touched on it again this morning.
Yeah.
And because it's the first one of the 1, 2, 3 workshops that I'm doing, you and Louise have been doing a great job.
Got one more session on Wednesday. And
it's been very well received, hasn't it?
I mean, Louise is fantastic. The knowledge that she's sharing is, I mean, I've learned something from every single session.
Have you?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, isn't that great?
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be launching my own 1, 2, 3, and I thought, well, I've got to go back to basics and start from scratch too, because I know a lot of people that would benefit from just focusing a little bit more on how to stamp.
Yes.
And how to get there's one thing stamping, and it's another thing stamping consistently well.
Yeah.
You know? And so I thought that we would do a 1, 2, 3 course focusing on stamping and landscapes. So the landscapes are using those masks.
Yes.
And color blending and composition.
Yeah.
And then of course these stamp pens are absolutely amazing.
Perfect for the
little tiny tree stamps.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the online course that I'm promoting, which begins in May, is available now.
The item number for that is 60222. It's £60. There's no club discounts. If you go to the front of the website, you'll be able to find the details there. If you click through, and the live sessions, as Barb's showing there, will take place on Wednesday the 7th, 14th and 21st of May.
But if you can't make the live sessions for whatever reason, that's not a problem, because I'm going to do a pre-record, which means that apart from being able to see the live session anyway, you also get the key to the pre-record. And you can watch that anytime for life. So you can go back in a month's time, in a year's time, and you can open that door again, have another look. Not a problem at all.
Definitely.
So when you enroll, then you not only get the key for good, right? So you've got access to that for good, but we also send you this little booklet, which these are the 5 cards we're going to be making during the course of the 3 weeks. And then we also, as soon as we send you the booklet with a plan that shows you exactly what we're doing, there's also a discount code. There is indeed. Exclusive to you.
Yes. So that what that means is we've created a shop that will list everything that Barb's using over the course of this course. And anything in there, you will get a 10% discount on any of those items for a duration of 2 months from enrollment. So maybe you come into one of the lives and think, oh no, I can get away with using this, I can get away. That's fine. But then afterwards you may think, you know what, actually, I need to go back and get that. So that will be valid for 2 months from the date of enrolment.
So I'm going to show you how to do the landscapes, how to blend colours, how to do reflection stamping, how to do bow wob transfers on a gel plate. And then so you get that lovely effect at the back with that's laser transfer trick, how to get the colours, how to get the depth, how to stamp. We've got a new little set of elephant stamps.
We have, yeah.
But the point is as well that all these little stamps, these little tiny stamps, are brilliant for the stamp pens.
Yes.
Okay. And when we send you the booklet, we'll also send you a little pack included in this course booklet of a mask and some pre-printed backgrounds for you to practice with.
Which is great, isn't it?
So that's all part of the online course.
It is indeed. Yeah.
And
if you need any more information, you can obviously give Sue a call in the office on 01732 868 215.
So that's another reason to get a stamp pens.
Yeah, definitely.
And actually a stamp pen holder, because that's a composition, that's a project builder right there.
Yeah.
It'd be brilliant to have that. I know I'll be using that. Yeah, so back to the little words, you see, these would be absolutely gorgeous when in conjunction with the...
They would, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. That is 12142 for that little set there.
That one there, yeah.
And then I'm thinking that maybe it's time to do a demo.
Shall we?
To show you how they work.
The royal way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I did a couple of little tricks.
I love
just to show you. And I'll show you where I start and how it works. So let me just show you a couple of these and then we'll take it from there, shall we? So if we look at this is a 3.5 by 3.5 inch card. So you can see we've got that tiny little square with a little bit of foliage behind.
Yeah.
And then I've used a couple of the hummingbirds, the colibri, just to offset it. So this is a 5 by 5 inch card, really easy.
Yeah.
So I thought perhaps we could take a look at that. Let's look at closer.
That little box with the sentiment with love looks as if it's a sticker been put on top.
No, it's all one layer. It's all one layer. So very easy to do.
Yeah. So
I thought that perhaps I will show you how to get that mask trick.
Okay.
Right. And here's another one that shows you. I used the papers from the Shenandoah, all 4 of these.
Oh, from the companion papers.
Yeah. So I just went with the colour that I felt would work really nicely. Here's one. Right. This is lovely. So you'll see here, I did a wreath, but I also incorporated, there you go, if I do that, this is all on one layer as well. So that little piece there is the oval frame.
From that stamp set.
From a stamp set with the words in, and it's like that's the starting place.
And that's where you can see why you need the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's the flowers around the back that create the depth.
That's lovely.
Same principle as that, actually. It's the same principle.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just do this, shall we?
Okay.
So I'll show you how it works. Okay. You're right, Paul.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're worn out, aren't you?
I'm fine.
Right, let's have a go. So what we're going to do is take a 5 by 5 inch. Let's just look at what we're using.
Yeah.
Right, I'm using a 5 by 5 inch card blank.
Okay.
And a 3.5 inch stencil card.
Yeah. So
we should have some of that in the cupboard.
We have indeed. So the item number, I'll put this over here actually, and then.
Good idea.
Okay, so I'll pop that to one side.
I'll just get a clearer space here as well.
Okay.
I'm going to need that and that. And I'm going to need my square, which is in my little pen holder.
In your caddy,
look, I've got them all lined up, I've got it all teed up, which is so useful.
Makes such a difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
So let me move this one over there. You can see here I've got my 2 hummingbirds and my with love all ready to go.
Yeah.
Right, now let me just grab some. We can have a little play with the hummingbirds as well. So I've got my 3.5 by 3.5.
Yeah.
Did we just have a look at that?
Yeah, I can put it onto camera 4 if you wanted to do that.
Well, let me do this and then we can see where we're going.
That's fine.
So I'm going off offside a bit,
Yeah.
right? But let me just, what I'm always going to do, because you kind of need to get your eye in as well, I'm going to have a piece of the same card I'm stamping on here.
Yeah.
So that I get a little bit of practice, like one for test, one for best.
Yes.
You know, this, if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm just going to use it to, right, you want to make sure that let's have a look. So I'm going to stamp like that. I want to make sure that I get the right pressure, you know, because you do have to practice. If you press too hard, you will squelch, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Okay.
Right, so now I want to make sure I get it straight on, right? So I'll go again, and then I'll just go like that. There we are.
Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
One of the things more important, I know that you think, well, that's not tricky, that's not rocket science.
It's the pressure though, isn't
but
it?
you can,
Yeah.
if you squelch too hard, or you use, so because you're using a pen, you just get the perfect pressure. It's just right.
Yeah.
If you use a stamping platform,
you're applying your full force, really, aren't you?
It's false. It's
Yeah.
It's a false friend. You can't see how much
No.
you're using. This way, you can see exactly.
You can feel it, can't you?
You can, because it's a pen.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll pop that back in the holder. Now I'm going to go to the words.
Yeah.
Okay, back to show you now. So I've got my one for test and one for best. Yeah. So I'll try this now. Right. I'm just going to ink that up. Then I'm going to come over here. Let's test it first. I'm going to use the other hand. Perfect. Right. So I'll go again. So this is where I often think it's good to have a couple on the go at the same time.
Yeah.
So that if you know, you should do about 4 of these.
So that, yeah, so there's no pressure then to have one perfect, is there?
We've said this often, haven't
Yeah.
we? Right, so now I don't need that anymore. So I'll pop that back in there. Okay, and I'll put the lid on there because I don't need that for the moment.
No, and you've got 24 different sentiments to choose from in that collection.
I have. So what I'm going to use now is my mask, because in order to cover that up, I'll use my mask. I'm going to take my dodgy
eyebrow tweezers.
Eyebrow tweezers. I'll just pop that on there. That covers that up.
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll do this one at the same time. So that way, see, because this is clever.
Because you've got more than one per shape.
That's it. I pop that on there. Actually, I've got one here that's square on. Let's use that one. Not that it makes a blind bit of difference. Right, there you go. Nice. Yep. Okay, so we've got two on the go here.
Okay.
Now let's have a look. What am I going to use? Okay, so ink pads. We've got choices. We can use archivals. We can use distress inks. We can use distress arts. Use what you like.
Yeah.
For me to do this, I'm going to use those 2 colours.
Okay.
Right, peeled paint and peacock feathers.
Right.
Right, so we'll pop those out the way. We'll put them like so. Now, again, tiny stamps, don't need a lot of ink. So I'm going to use a spot-on sponge to ink blot plot.
Right, okay.
Right, ink blot plot. So let's say, for example, to do this, I'm going to use, let's use this one. Okay?
Yeah.
I've got that. I'm ready to go. But if I go in there, I don't want to spoil this.
No.
So I'm going to show you on another piece of scrap. Look, I'll show you. If I go straight from the ink pad to there.
It's quite blistery, isn't it?
It is, right?
Yeah.
So let's go like so, right?
Yeah.
Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
I think you can. It's coming a bit closer so you can see it better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very blistery.
It's very blistery. Let's go to the peeled paint. This is probably a bit wetter. See, but you see how it's not very, it'll do, but it's not what I'm after.
No.
Yeah. But if I go like that, and then like that, and then like that, right, go again. 1, 2, 3. And you can get so much more. I think so. I think you can see this. Let's have a look. If I go in there, then I go there, you'll see it starts to change. It looks better. let me show you a trick. If I want to blend the colours, if I go in there like that, look, I'm going to take a bit of ink off there.
Yeah.
It's quite a dried old ink pad, this. That's okay. Right, I've got a bit of turquoise there. And then I'm going to take some of the green and add some green to that as well. So now I've got 2 colours on the go.
Right, okay.
Right, so now let's see what happens if I go that way. Right, so now I'm not using the ink pad at all. I'm using the sponge. Now look at the
Oh,
difference.
so you're creating your own ink pad, really, aren't you?
But check out the difference.
Yeah.
Between that, whatever I did there versus that.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely.
And also even sort of blotting onto the spot on sponge is different again.
Yep.
So
you lose them for a minute, because otherwise you'll be tempted to keep going in there. Right, let's go like this. Let's go like so. Look how smooth. Do you get what I'm getting at here? So I'm keeping that green at the top, and I'm just going to show you, look, and I'm using the ink pad, the sponge, excuse me, to, look, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going in, go up a little bit, but you can see after a while it might go a little bit faded, but look,
that I like.
It's
that.
really nice.
I like that two-tone. Do you remember those ink pads you used to get, the big and juicy, and the rainbow ones?
I do remember that. So now let me, because I want turquoise to the top.
Yeah.
I'll turn it. Let me turn my ink pad round, if you like.
Yeah.
Right. And now I've got turquoise to the top. So let's see what it looks like if I do that. And now I'm going to go inside. Yeah, look.
Look.
I know. So I'm just using one of the 35, no, sorry, 140.
140 stamps.
Yeah, but look how nice this is.
Wow.
Just one, and I'm getting real used to. Do you see? Isn't it pretty?
I like that.
And I've just.
And you could go out as far as you wanted to, but I think keeping it
do you see what I mean?
tight round that box.
So it's really nice. How far do you want to go with this?
Yeah.
Right. So now I've gone that far. I don't really think I want to go any further. You know, I've done what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I've got plenty of ink on there. So if I smooth that out with my finger off the mask.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take that, but I've got less control. If I take the makeup sponge, I think it might get too. Yeah. So what I'd rather do is to put some on there and then use my finger.
Yeah.
I've got more control. Yeah. And then when I lift this away, you'll see I've got my little picture.
Love it.
It's mini. You know, one of the things about stamping, this is one of the things that we want to talk about when we're doing the course.
Yeah.
The joy is in the little things. And I mean literally in the little touches.
Yeah.
That little tiny something that you do.
The little twist to it. So yeah, the little finishing touch.
It's that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've just used, to do that, we've used the 2 ink pads. Let me come in a bit. Let me pan out a little bit. So I used peacock feathers and peeled paint, which is my old favourite. Right, so I've done that. Now let's have a look. What else did I do here? So you can see, right, the 2 birds. Let me give you a couple of tips on how to use the birds. We'll use this scrap, and I'm going to, oh, hang on. Where are they?
Where are they? They're fully loaded.
Hey, here they are. Makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Right? So I've got my 2. So I'll use that one first. And I want to, now when you're using birds, especially the ones with really long beaks like the colibri, let me put this one on its, I'll just pop that back on its home base so I know where to find it. Right, I'm going to use black.
Okay.
So if I come in here, let me just check. Right, colibri. Now let me show you. If I stamp gently, right, I get a perfect bird.
Yes.
I'm going to go wrong. I'm going to deliberately over egg it so that you see, because that beak's perfect.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
So now let me go again, and let me show you. If I go too heavy and I squelch, see how it goes. Look, it looks like a pelican.
Dodge.
Yeah. So the trick now is when you do this, it won't affect the stamp, but lean into the back, lean into the wing.
taking the pressure
Yeah.
away.
So you lean in, you literally lean, and the more I lean into the wing,
the finer the beak.
the finer the beak.
Wow.
Do you see?
Yeah.
So let me go one more time and I'll show you. So I'll go like that and I'll lean into the back end, and then look, the thing, I don't know if you've see how it squelches if you do it.
Yeah.
Right? So you're just going to stay on that back end like that. And then again. So I'm coming in literally from the wing. I'm coming in from the back.
Yeah.
Because that's what hummingbirds do. They kind of hover.
They do, yeah.
They're the only birds, we get them in New Mexico when we go over there.
Oh, right.
You put feeders out, they're nectar birds. And when you put nectar out, which is just sugar water really, they come in and they're the only birds. It's quite amazing. We put feeders out the back window, and when they come in, they're the only birds that their wings can go forwards and backwards. You couldn't even go forward.
Go sideways. The documentary on BBC last night, they were in Peru, and there was an area in Peru that has the biggest range of hummingbirds.
Wow.
And they had these ones that had these long tails that had little feathers on the end of
Amazing.
it. Yeah, and
amazing.
It really was, and 80 flaps a second or something.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go and you can hear them
humming.
If you listen, that's why they're called hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Because they're going. You can hear the speed
of which they're going.
And what's also fascinating, I digress here, but this is so exciting. Right, when they come in and they feed, right, and the nectar is kind of in a little, I'd say trough, but it's a tiny little. They're only that small, right? And then they queue up. You watch them, and they queue up, and then one goes in. He has his feed, then he flies away, and then the next one comes in, and then it's like that. It's like a rotation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite something.
Oh.
And when the sun hits them, they're kind of gold and turquoise, just glorious.
Nice.
So there you go. So let's have a look. So we're going to go there, and I'm going to go one for test, one for best.
Okay.
Right. So leaning into the. That's what I want to do. I got the angle right. I know where I want to go, and I'm going to lean into the. What's up? Oh, I've got to come down a bit. Sorry, I'm so close to the. Paul's giving me signs.
Polite signs.
Yeah, I know. There.
Look at
Beautiful.
that.
Right, so that one's in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll just put that back. Oh, it's such a luxury.
Where's your other one? Oh,
it's such a luxury because automatically you want to peel it off and get the next one.
Yeah.
But you don't need to because they're there.
They're there ready for you to go.
They're ready for the
time saving.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Composition, it's all there. You haven't got to find them.
And just to clarify, there was a question from Gracie. The double points are just on the tool caddy. So it's just on the tool holders for midnight up until midnight on Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, let's have a look. So we'll go again. We'll just check. Remember what I said about leaning into the back?
Yeah.
Lean into the wing, right? So I'm going to lean into the wing and then move forward. So the more yeah. So I'll do that and I'll go in there and then I'll lean into the wing and it's perfect.
Look.
See? Isn't that lovely?
I love that.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things that you might enjoy doing, I'm going to sit down for this because this is just something that you might enjoy, right? Take a piece of scrap, take your wings, take your hummingbird, and then just go in like that and then start to hover because that's what they do. And when they flap, it's like they are doing that.
It's the illusion of movement.
Yes, it gives you that movement.
You did that with the bumblebees, didn't you?
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Like when the bumblebees are doing their waggle dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with hummingbirds, and you could take this one as well, just have a play. All you need is a little bit of card or just a bit of copy paper, right? And then you go in like that. Let's see if we can do this. You can move the paper as well. So here now, we could go in there like that and then come round like that and turn the paper rather than, do you see look how many times?
Yeah.
See the movement?
Yeah.
Look, it's so nice.
It is. I like that.
The trick is to lean on the wing and not on the beak.
Onto the beak.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
So that's that. demo, thus endeth demo number 1. And it's really easy because, so we've done that. Let me put all my little, I'm putting them all back on my storage.
Composition.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, then I can decide, I can write on the back what colours I've used.
Yeah.
You know. So then if I want to finish the work, I went to, oh, that's another thing I want to show off.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to the Shenandoah paper, the companion papers. And this is where I found these beautiful colours.
Lovely.
And so the Shenandoah is 31666.
Yeah.
Right. And when I cut 4 pieces, so composition, I went with a 5x5.
Yeah.
Right. And then I cut this out 4x4. So each sheet gives you 4.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Because they're 8x8.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm going to take my 5x5 and I can decide which color I want to use. So for example, that's quite nice, that dark, but I know that teal is going to make that sing. See, so that color there just looks so pretty as a simple little card.
Doesn't it?
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Look, less is more. I don't need anything else on there.
No, it doesn't have to be a 4. Yeah, no, I love that.
That'll do. And it's the size of the stamped image. What's most important is that the stamped image is really well done there.
Yeah.
That's more important than anything else. So there's that one, and there's the one we just did live. Good enough.
Beautiful.
Good enough. In fact, that one's better. That one, no, squelch. That one was like, oh, lean on the wing.
He's had too much of nectar.
He's been on the nectar.
He's been on the nectar. He's been drinking it up.
Do you know we call it that in the Medway towns?
Being on the
nectar.
Sherbet. Yeah. It's a London thing as well.
Is it?
Yeah. On the nectar and the sherbet.
Anyway, that's ended demo 1. Over to you, Virgil.
Okie dokie. So would you press number 4 for me, please? There we go. So if you're interested in some of the cardstock, the 3.5 by 3.5 cardstock, if you want a pack of 100, the item number for that is 31131. If you want 2 packs, because you'll definitely chomp through that 3.5 by 3.5, perfect for your mini makes, item number 31402. Then if you're after some 5x5 white card blanks, you get 10 of those with the envelopes, item number 31670. And then let me just bring in, because I can swap out on my lovely overhead. If you want that collection of stamps, there we go, just going to bring that in there. In the lovely storage box, item number 21231, and I'll just bring those details up there. Oh, there we go. So you have a $9.99 saving, which means you're getting that Slow Down with Clarity storage box for free. If you're a Diamond Club member, that brings the price down to £52.60. If you're after the brand new stamps, so we have the lovely little birds. I'll bring those in there for you. So the birds are, there we go, item number 12143. And then where are those? The little mini sentiments. These are great with those frames and the masks as well. Item number for that, 12142. But the star of the show really today is that fantastic tool holder for Clarity stamp pens and Pergamano tools. Item number 31797, $14.99, and you'll get double points on that until midnight on Thursday. So are we good to go, Bob?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just having a little, because one of the things that I also wanted to flag up was something that we came up with, these little people. Now the other week. So these little people, they caused quite a stir.
They did.
They young, especially young at heart, young artists.
I mean, Grace said they were one of her favourites.
She's in love. She's obsessed with these, right? So I wonder if I've only got my old, well-loved ones. Now, I will say that this particular demo here, right, I'm going to save that for the TV. I'm going to do that on Hobby Maker. So if you want to see how that's done, then join me on Hobby Maker at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
For my debut, my debut.
Debut. You got a lovely butt.
Steady. So these are these little people.
Who was going to wallop for me then?
No, your arms are too dodgy. But you can see here these little people. They are so cute. And the number on these is 12139. Once again, what you'll see is they fit absolutely perfectly on these stamp pens. They are gorgeous. And if you were wondering whether they fit on the on these particular, whether they fit in here, I thought I would just show you that if you were wondering whether you can combine the two ideas, what I do need to do, because I can't go and get another set. Right, let me just take one of these and you'll see that this sits exactly right on there.
Yeah,
like so.
Perfect.
Right.
It's just brilliant.
And if I take, I've already started, right? I already put the little characters in.
I absolutely love this.
And I'll show you how they work. So again, I'm going to take a piece of, one's for test and one's for best, just to make sure I get my pressure right. It's actually quite straightforward. Honestly, it's quite straightforward. The trick is not to press hard.
Yeah, so you
that's
don't
the
get
truth of it.
Fat lines. You don't want fat lines.
No, nobody wants fat lines. So, for example, if I want to, actually, I won't spoil that because I think I've already kind of got that ready to go. So let me just get my eye in like that, so you can see that works, right? I'm going to leave that like that, and then
you need to put that in your holder.
I'm going to put that in my holder, right? So now I can just decide which little people. See, I like him. This is where we were laughing our heads off this morning. This little fella, he looks up. Actually, where's Henry VIII? See, look, if you go Henry VIII, look. So he looks like a little painter.
Yeah.
Look, not a painter and decorator. I mean, an artist painter.
Yeah.
Like Toulouse-Lautrec, or I don't know. No, he didn't. He wasn't tall, was he?
No idea.
So then we'll just pop him in like that, just to show you how they fit, like a glove. Right, watch. So then we'll just pop him in there, like so.
Look. Oh, you've been framed. That is perfect.
So once you pop them in there, see, they just work lovely.
Yeah.
Now what I wanted to do was show you, because we used the inside of the, to cover up like this,
of course, yes,
to get that effect, right? So you can, like with the flowers on the outside,
behind.
But we've also got the option of using the other part.
Yes.
So what I wanted to do was just show you, if I go into this one here, I've done these ones already.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's do this one, and then I'll go over one for test and one for best. Right. So I'll pop that on there.
Yeah.
So now I'm covering up the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I go in here like that, I'm just going to take a little bit of ink. It might be enough on there. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, sometimes you don't need to re-ink. It's already there for you. Ding dong. There we are. See, so I can take that, and then I can take a couple of pencils. You don't need a couple of pencils. We'll just put a little bit of an outfit on him.
Flash of colour.
Flash of colour. That's it. I think I'll go green there, yellow down there. We've done a little bit of colour down there. Let's see if I've got a little bit more ink on that one. This is going to be a bit wetter.
Okay.
I know it. Yeah, that's better though. Right. So go like that. And when I lift that off, there's my little fella.
Look at that.
Right. So let's go into this one. One for test, one for best.
Okay.
Right. And that really, it doesn't get smaller than this, does it?
No. And these stamps, these little people, are perfect for those little boxes.
Look. See if we can.
Wow.
I know. I know. These are so delightful to use. Have we got these on the set as well? Have we got these?
Yeah,
on the
so they'll
telly?
be on in the show page. So the item number for those are 12139 for Barbara's Shack people.
These are great.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about, look, if you're worried about going over the edge with your makeup sponge, with your spot on sponge, right, then just put a bit of masking tape down there.
Just to protect it.
And then that way you can go in here, right, there you go, a bit of, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes, you know, I was saying about the little things.
Yeah.
This is it. This is where you get that. Just it's fun.
Nice.
Right. It's fun.
I love that.
And then you just replace your mask on your home sheet like that. But that just goes to show you that you can use both the inside, right, and the outside. That's why they're designed like this. And you've got multiples. So you've got, let me just grab that corner there. You've got, let me see, 1, 2, 3. You've got 3 of each, haven't you? 3 of each shape, I mean.
Yes.
There you go. So once you've done that, you see, and you've got your little people like there, then it's up to you whether you, let's see if I could take one of my micron pens.
Yeah.
And I could take that and I could go over there, along there, round there, under his legs, down we go, up over the top of her. So now it looks like they're actually...
It's like a triptych, isn't it?
Yeah, now they're anchored, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we come up there like so, down there, up we go, and then down the other side. So all of a sudden, it looks like a little landscape.
They're all together now, aren't they? Yeah.
And then last but not least, I tell you what, we really are, at the moment, we're bringing out so many lovely, new, cool things.
And they sort of mix and match with one another, don't they? Regardless of the style, there's a connection between everything.
There is. And if I just come out a little bit here, let me see if I can show you these. So these are pretty spectacular. And in fact, I'm going to pan out a little bit further so you can see these woodblock stickers. So the number on these is 31781.
12.99. And we launched these at the same time as Barb's Shack people as well.
And what you'll see is that there are little stickers of these little people as well.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. And if you just take a look, you are brilliant, be unique. And you've got the little people. If I show you, let me go to the white ones. So then maybe I can show you the difference in size.
Yeah.
I'll take that there. I'm looking for, where are they? They're all so different. They're slightly, well, they change. The sizes are all different. So, but here, for example, is such a neat little look. She's so beautiful. You've got to come in close to see this. Right, so I've stamped her, right, or not, right? But there's the same principle as a little sticker.
Yeah.
Really, really excellent.
But the sticker, once you've used it, you've used it.
Whereas with the stamps, you go again and again. And here we have, you are brilliant. Yeah. You can use the white one, or, because in the set of stickers, you've got 132. What's really excellent is they're all different shapes and all different sizes as well, which I really like.
I think it's nice because you can stand them on, you can use them as a focal point.
There are so many different things when you start looking. Peace with this Japanese sign. It is what it is. Love. You can trim them up. You can chop them up. Then here we've got a large piece, right? Really, really excellent. Be unique. You are brilliant. Let's try you are. What else we got here? You are brilliant. You are brilliant. Yeah. All right.
I get the message.
I got it. Look, these are so lovely. Look, there's that little bloke. He reminds me of Henry VIII.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
So let me take him. Right, we'll take him. And then at the same time, look, happy.
Yeah.
These are a real joy to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
There's
joy
so
on there
much.
as well.
There's a joy there. Look,
there
joy.
Joy.
Where is she? There. Joy. So much going on. I am, I can, I will.
Yeah.
So what you do now is you look at all your stickers and you look at your piece of artwork and you say, right, so there's another little fella. So he, all right, just so you know, that's the size of the sticker versus the size.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could literally.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Yeah. If you made a Horlicks of one of them. Yeah, I love this. I love this idea. This kind of
the mixability of it, isn't it?
Mixability of it. So let me take a sticker, bit of project completion here. So it's just playtime, isn't it? Right, B, what we're going to go with, you are brilliant, because that's what we like. What we like. Right, you are brilliant. We'll just pop that on there. So we've got the same kind of gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works really nicely.
That's nice. Yeah,
we'll take her off there because she doesn't really belong there, does she? We'll use her later. So we'll put her back. Because that's the other thing is these are, they only stick after a while. So they're repositionable for a while.
Yeah.
That's worth knowing as well. I'm going to pop him in there. Look, he's on the white. He's in black and white.
He's escaped.
Yeah, rogue. He's gone rogue. But I just love that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's using one of those little frames from the brand new Stamp Pen Sentiment stamp set. And now all of a sudden you've got that connection with the Barbara Shack People stamp set.
You just got to know when to stop.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that all ties in with those beautiful little people, which works with the Stamp Pen Sentiments.
Yeah, which works with the stamp pens that are now going in your brand new tool holders.
So that's the same, it works.
Yeah.
It really does. So I'm gonna stop there.
Wow.
Because I think you get the picture. And as far as the stamp pen holders go, for me, these are a game changer.
Yeah.
Because for me, not even so much for the storage, although that's brilliant, but for me, it's the project preparing.
Yes. Yeah, as you say, because once you start getting all those little stamps out, you don't want to keep having to put them down, or you put them on the side and then you've got all the pens.
Where is it? Where isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this way. It's all there for me. And then once I finish for the day, then I'll spend 5 minutes and I'll take my tray and I'll just replace them.
Yeah.
And then I've got my beautiful
stamp pens ready to go for your next project.
Ready to go again.
Yeah.
There we are. Sorted.
Super duper.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we'll just give you details of that stamp pen. I'll bring it up on the full screen for us. There we go. Item number 31797, $14.99. Double points on that until midnight on Thursday. I know many of you have been choosing one or two of them to add into your basket. Then if you're after the new stamp set, the Stamp Pen Sentiments and A6 Stamp and Mask set, item number 12142. And then those lovely little birds, item number 12143.
And it's really easy to just find them and replace them.
And put them away for next time.
Put them away for Ron. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thanks, Paul, for helping.
Thank you. Thanks for Grace as well. And was great. Louise will be back with you at 10 o'clock tomorrow for another episode of Groovy Tuesday. And then I'll be joining Louise tomorrow afternoon looking at the tool focus, because don't forget, over on Pergamano.com, you've got that 30% sale.
Tool focus?
Tool focus.
Tool focus, you mean the tools that go in these storage units?
The storage units.
Tool focus, the ones that we actually added Pergamano to.
Yes.
Don't say we're not thinking. There,
so
look.
There we go.
Love it.
Perfect for that for tomorrow afternoon.
Good. Thank you very much, Paul.
Okay, I will say goodbye then. Are we good to go?
Good to go. Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.